Okay, so it's Monday at the Redneck Garage. I still have to adjust those hinges on that door, but it's looking good. Finished wet sanding the hood. Got a little buffing to do right there, it looks like, but I'm not going to stress over that. And we need to get prepped for the bed liner. I want to get that other door hung on this side, and I need to get those doors where they'll open and shut, so that may be a separate video on adjusting the hinges. I don't know yet, but I've got them on, but they're not really set up correctly. That one's a little bit too high, and this one doesn't come in and out as easily as it should. It almost feels like that hinge is a little bent, so we're going to take a look at that too. Everything looks good. Moving right along. One of the things I found really good to do, if you look at, I don't know if you can see it or not, but if you look at those threads, there's still some paint and junk in there, maybe primer, who knows. But I take my tap set and I run through all these bolts. I run the tap and run it through all these holes so the bolts go in easily in and out. And that's made the reassembly a lot easier, because that paint really does make it hard to get your bolts in and out. So just use your tap, run it in, run it back out, and you're usually good to go. And you can drop a little drop of lubricating oil if you want to on it. It's made it a lot easier to install this stuff back on. I'm going to go ahead and start putting hardware on my door so I can adjust the door latch and everything. But let me tell you something. I am not happy with this hinge at all. This is a rugged ridge hinge assembly rather than OEM. And you can see where this hinge rubs right up against that bolt to the point that it rubs the paint off. So that's how close it is. So this thing's really, I mean, there's no adjustments to that portion of it, of where the hinge pin goes down in it. So that really sucks. I'm going to get the factory hinge that I took off of it, and I may end up painting it and putting it back on, because I want the doors to be able to come off easily, rather than, you know, I can't even paint this because it's not going to paint off. It's that close. I mean, I guess I could take a torch and try to bend that out a little, but what the heck? Okay, so here's what you get when engineer Johnny makes a door handle for a Jeep Wrangler. Here's the old one, and you can see that the handle is actually broken. Something's broken in the post, and it's cocked, and every time you open it, it grinds. It's hard to even open. It gets stuck because something, that the post is broken in it, in that pot metal. So I ordered a new lock. This is the old one, and I ordered a new lock from eBay for it was really actually pretty cheap, and it looks nice. It's slightly a little bit narrower than the old one, but here's the best part. Where the screws go in, engineer Johnny didn't tap it for the screws, so I'm gonna have to how retarded. So it's not even tapped for screws, because that's how it's held on. So I'm gonna have to tap out these holes. But how retarded that it's not tapped on the two holes. And of course they've got the lock assembly latch on the wrong side, which I'll have to flip over. But really, you couldn't tap those holes? All right, so I'm gonna do that so we can get the door handle put back on. That's just retarded though. Okay, the engineer Johnny door handle does look good, but I had to spend like 30 or 40 minutes enlarging the holes in the back because it was off a little bit, and tapping out the handle because it didn't have any holes in it. I mean, come on, really? But anyway, so there's the door handle. Tighten it up and we'll go from there. So I'm working on this hinge, and I'm having to bend it a little bit, which is retarded. But let me tell you, it's pretty stiff stuff. I bent a number 3 screwdriver. I've bent it pretty good. I bent it back, but I'm still doing a little bit of adjusting on this to get where the door will come in and out without a lot of effort. You know, you don't want to just fall up. Well, actually, I kind of do. I just wanted to slide out. So I'm working on this hinge. The bottom hinge seems to be just fine. I got my new striker plate put in. This one, they had the door aligned so poorly on the old Jeep that when you shut the door, it eventually just cracked this metal out. So I had to get a new one. And it did take one washer in the back, which they don't supply. but from looking at the other one, you can tell that there's some spacers in there. So initially this works well. I'm going to keep working on this hinge and see if I can get it where it's a little bit better as far as the pin going in and out of it and not hitting this bolt. And then I can probably touch it up and repaint it. Alright, so I'm getting ready to do the bed liner and just doing some final stuff with that. You know, putting the doors on so I can do the sides. Engineered Johny door handles that I finally got to work correctly. It's going to be a little loose because there's no gasket on it, and that's good. You want the gasket to take up that space. I may have to do some final adjustment once I get it painted with the bed liner and then the gasket on, but I think that's going to be about right where it's going to maybe just a hair out. But we'll see. It's actually really close, way better than it was before. These rails here are for the new top, new Rampage top, and they're going to be painted in bed liner up to this edge, not underneath where the top has to catch onto it. Actually, probably right to this edge, because I don't want to impinge. I don't really want to interfere with the top going down, so maybe just painting it bed liner up to that edge there. I think that's what we're going to end up doing. Now I got to find the parts to the rear tailgate to figure out how that stupid thing mounts on how I want to paint it. But got the door handle on it and it looks good. And now I just have to mount bottom hinge on this side, and I'll probably have to jank around with this stupid hinge to keep it from hitting two. But I'm really happy with that, and the windshield just looks absolutely awesome in the truck. There we go. That's exactly how I wanted it. I had to finagle around with this thing far too long to get this door to go in and out smoothly. But a little oil, I put a little grease in there, and it's about as good as it gets right there. And then it should just slide back down in. That's it. Looks good. Door's on. Wipe that off. Got my spare tire carrier painted, de-rusted. It looks good. Gonna mount that. And door handle's painted, ready to go on. Inner keepers for the windshield, ready. That's about where I'm at today. Alright, so this is into today on Monday. Door on. Got all the doors adjusted and on. Work like a champ. Wow. Got the passenger side door on. I haven't got the handle on. I had to paint it, but I got it lined up. Looks good. It opens and shuts just fine. Got the latches adjust. The latch adjustment was kind of a pain on these.
I bet.
But that's ready to go. So we're one day closer to doing the bed liner.
That looks great.
Yeah, it does turn nice. Looks nice, doesn't it?
Jeep.
I gotta find my other one somewhere. Windshield's on. All right, it's beer time. I got to tell Mama I couldn't do the Jeep today because I had to work on the Honda and see what she has to say. She'll say, "You need to get the Jeep done." Yeah, that's not good.
No, that's a good deed. They'll come back to you.
All right, so putting the doors on. In fact, that was part of the easy part. The hardest part for me, getting the doors on, getting the doors done, is being able to do this. Take it off with no effort. Because when you want to go doorless, I've seen people have to take a hammer and stuff, and I've adjusted them enough where I can just lift it off. So that's pretty.
Slick.
So that's how a YJ door is supposed to go on and off. Cool. Oh wow, what a day. I'm out in the Redneck Paint Booth 2, which hadn't moved, and it's been pretty windy. It's starting to rain. I can hear the rain on the roof of the paint booth, so that's good. Haven't lost it. Today was Doors Day. And I was really happy with the ways the doors came out. It took a long time to get those adjusted where you could just pick them up, put them back on like they're supposed to. I had to do one edge adjustment where it goes on the driver's side, and we're going to be doing the bed liner up to that edge. So we're just one step closer to applying the bed liner, and that's going to be another video. Everything's looking really good. Moving forward towards the completion date. Christian and I did work on the Honda a little bit today, and that's going to be a whole nother separate video series on fixing a crash repair on a Honda. So that was pretty cool. It's supposed to rain a little bit tonight, and then in the morning maybe it'll clear off a little bit. But overall, I'm really happy about the progress. David from Redneck Garage, keep turning wrenches.